All praise to the Most High, Ahia, and to His Son, Yahayash, Messiah, Yadahaya. This is Brother Holly here with the second Spirit of Truth broadcast here on the Ahia House channel, as well as the House of Ahia channel, on this set-apart Sabbath day. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to the great I Am, He who is, was, and is to come, the Almighty One, Yadahaya, and to His Son, Yahaya Messiah, Yahayasha Messiah, who gave Himself for us that we might have life, and that life is in Him, Yadahaya. Now, in this second broadcast, we're going to go over a subject we generally go over this. Every time it comes up in the year, it comes up once a year, and tonight at sundown is this event. Some of you who have a proper 364-day calendar know what I'm talking about. Tonight at sundown is the Passover. We're in the month of Abib. Tonight at sundown, April 20th, is Passover. Now, we know that most of these heathens, especially those the Make-A-Wish Foundation, those wall-worshiping interlopers and liars in the land of Canaan at the moment, saying they are true Yasha'Allah and are not, the liars, the synagogue of Hasatan, they had their Passover about 10 days ago. And it says in the book of Jubilees that the liars will have a calendar that's 354 days, where the true calendar, the calendar that's settled in heaven and earth, is 364 days. That would be 52 weeks times 7 days. 52 times 7 is 364 every time without fail. There ain't no leap years and ain't no leap days. It's never 365. It's never 367. It's always 364 every time without fail. And according to that calendar, today would be the time in which, today at sundown, we're going into the first day of the week. At sundown today, we will have the time of celebration of the Passover. Now you're probably sitting there saying to yourself, if that's so, bro, why you didn't say nothing about this last week? We could have had our lamb ready. We could have been ready to roast. We could have had our unleavened bread, our bitter herb. We could have had our wine to drink. We could have had our staff in our hand. We could be ready to go. We should have been prepared for this. Well, I say this to you, children. If you go back on these channels, on the High House and House of How, the last year about this time, we had a broadcast called A Proper Passover. This is a proper Passover, yet again, or for 2024, the proper Passover teaching. And we'll be teaching we'll be saying the same thing we said last year of why we do not celebrate the Passover or any of the other feasts during this time and while we are here. If the feast has a sacrifice with it, which the Passover does, we do not celebrate it. And we can't celebrate Passover just any place. We're going to read from Torah and from Torah, and we're going to read from 2 Peter, how that false teachers and false liars will use your misunderstanding or your misapplication of scriptures against you to make merchandise of you. I don't know how many of you have recently gone to a Passover Seder put on by the fakers or by some misguided people of the Hebraic faith. There's tons of our brothers and sisters of the Hebraic faith who are misguided, who have Passover meals, who have Passover Seders, and some of them even charge you money to attend. You know, I've heard, $50, $100, come celebrate Passover with us. And, they're just making merchandise of you children. They should just open up the scripture and read to you what I'm going to read to you today and let that be that. Will we ever celebrate the Passover again? I sure do hope so. But we have to be back in our land at peace and at the place where the Most High said His name. Let's go. I'll be reading from the Learned Pillar Hebrew Torah, Lashawan Kodash, Holy Tongue, Yashahai Bible Scriptures. We're rolling with the second broadcast using the new orientation, the new camera, the new orientation. What I discovered in the first broadcast is my voice is loud anyway, but now with this new camera, it's magnified, like it's like yelling. So I'll try to keep my exuberance to a minimal, so it won't sound like I'm screaming and yelling at you. But as I've said before, and I'll say it again, here at the Highest House and House of High, these rebukes, no matter how they come, are absolutely 100% free of charge. I will never, ever ask you, any of you, for a dime for any of the things that High has asked me to do, nor to continue on this platform or other platforms as High wills it to be so. Whatever he has me to do will absolutely be 100% free of charge to you. For freely I've received, freely I shall give. All praises. Let's go. Deuteronomy chapter 12. Let's start at verse 1. These are the statutes and judgment that you shall observe to do in the land which Ahijah, your Ahijah of your fathers giveth thee to possess it, all the days that you live upon the earth. So here we go. We're going to read the statutes. We're going to read the judgment. As long as we're here on the planet, these are the ones we have to abide by when we're absolutely back in the land. And at present, Jerusalem is being trodden down by the Gentiles. We ain't there yet. It's a trembling cup. We ain't there yet. It's the time of Jacob's trouble. We're out here scattered abroad. We're out here being, with the heathens with their thumb on the scale and their knee on our neck. They're killing us and they could declare themselves not guilty. But time is going to come, children. As we return to our Most High Power, He's going to return to us. And according to Deuteronomy chapter 30, He's going to fetch us from wherever we are scattered. He's going to fetch us and put us back in our own land. We shall have peace and none make us afraid. All praises. I'll read it again. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land which Ahijah of your fathers gives you to possess it all the days that you live upon the earth. Verse 2, Deuteronomy 12:2. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations or the Gentiles which ye shall possess served their Allahiyahs upon the high mountain and upon the hills and under every green tree. We highlight. So everywhere these heathens have set up temples of worship, everywhere these heathens have stood up idols, everywhere these heathens have stood up the wood of the graven image, wooden crosses, we're to tear them down. You know this ain't our land, because they everywhere. Their idols are everywhere. We know the Philippines in our land, because they over there right just a few days ago or weeks ago, they had this progression of this Black Messiah statue through the city of Manila, the capital city, and hundreds of thousands of Filipinos flocking to it, trying to touch it, trying to get healed. A bunch of idolaters, a bunch of idol worshipers. Don't let nobody fool you. If they got an image or they got an idol, they are an idolater. We're commanding in the scriptures, no images, no idols. Say it with me now. No images, no idols. I don't care what color the Messiah image they got, what color the picture they got, or the idol they got. It's an idol, it's an image, and it's not to be had. We're not to pay attention to these things. All praises. I'll read verse 2 again. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess served their deities upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. And you shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down their graven images of their deities and destroy the names of them out of that place. Will you highlight? It says in the word that the children of Yasha'al shall inherit the whole planet. There's going to come a day on the whole planet there won't be an idol found in it. And it is our privilege. All praises to a high forgiveness to us. It's our privilege, child, to go out and destroy these heathens. I'm going to tear some stuff up myself. All praises. The high wills it be so. Verse 4. Deuteronomy 12:4. You shall not do so. And ye shall not do so unto Ahiah, your Alahiah. We ain't gonna tear him down. All praises. Verse 5. But unto the place which Ahiah, your Alahiah, shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name therein, even unto this habitation shall ye seek, and thither you shall come. We highlight. We're to seek out the place where Ahiah chose to put his name, and we're not only to seek it out, but we're to go to it. Verse 6, Deuteronomy 12:6, and thither you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and the heave offerings of your hand and of your vows and your freewill offerings and your firstlings of your herds and of your flocks. And there you shall eat before Ahiah, your Alahiah, and ye shall rejoice in all that you put your hand unto, you and your households, wherein Ahiah, thy Alahiah, hath blessed thee. Will you highlight? Now, some of you sitting there right now saying, well, Brother Holly, we're just celebrating the Passover. We're not making a sacrifice. I'm going to show you in a moment from Deuteronomy chapter 16 that the Passover is referred to in the scriptures as a sacrifice. And some of you are out there saying right now, as some of you probably said last year when I made this presentation in this same manner, on this same subject, well, Brother Holly, we're just celebrating. But you're being told right here that you're not to make sacrifices but one place. And we're going to read in a few moments in Deuteronomy 12, not to do after your own thinking. Not to do what's right in your own eyes. So that's what most of you are right now. You've been awakened. You know you're a Hebrew. You know you're of the 12 tribes of Yasha'Allah. You know that these covenants, these promises, all the laws, everything, the Messiah came for you. You know these things. You're confirmed in the truth, but you're still subject to being led away with the foolishness of the heathen. Led away with the false teachings of the false preachers and the false prophets among us. Led away. And we're going to read about that in 2 Peter in a moment. Don't be led away from the truth found in the Torah. Don't be led away from the truth found in the Word. Don't be led away from it. Cling to the Most High in His Word. No, and don't cling to the foolishness of the heathens. I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 12:7. And there, where? The place where He put His name. And there you shall eat before Ahiah, your Alahiah. And you shall rejoice in all that you put your hand unto, you and your households, when Ahiah your Alahiah has blessed thee. Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes will you highlight. You should not do after the manner that we've been doing. What's that? Every man doing what is right in his own eyes. Well, Brother Holly, I just like celebrating. See, because I don't celebrate Christmas no more. See, I don't celebrate Easter no more. And. Well, you ain't supposed to be celebrating Passover either unless you back in the land, unless you at peace. We're going to read it. You know, all praises that you don't celebrate Christmas no more. Shouldn't have been celebrating to begin with. All praises you don't celebrate Easter no more. Shouldn't have been doing it to begin with. All praises you won't do that. All praises. However, you should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Ahiah. Here's some word right out of his mouth. I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 12:8. Ye shall not do after all these things that we do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Ahiah your Alahiah giveth you. We're not in our rest right now. We're not in our inheritance right now. You're lying if you say we are. We're in our enemy's land, growing old. We're in our enemy's land with their thumb on the scale and they knee on our necks. To this day, I thank our higher, the most high power that we've awakened, that we've come to ourselves. So many of us have come to ourselves. So many of us have woken up. All praises. I thank him for that. And I know that when we awaken in this captive state, that's when he'll come. That's when he'll fetch us. We return unto him, he'll return unto us. And he will fetch us. I told you, Deuteronomy chapter 30 should be mandatory reading every Shabbat with you and your family. Just sit down and read the whole thing together. Every Shabbat. First thing, before you eat your meal, first thing, read Deuteronomy 30. Build up yourself your most holy faith. Build it up. Oh, praises. Read it again. Deuteronomy 12:9. For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Ahai your Allahai giveth you. But when you go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Ahai your Allahai giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safely, then, verse 11, then there shall be a place which Ahai your Allahai shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and vows, which you have vowed unto Ahai. Verse 12, and ye shall rejoice before Ahai your Allahai, you and your sons and your daughters and your menservant and your manservant and the Levi that is within your gates, forasmuch as he have no part nor inheritance with you your whole life. Everybody. But there's some qualifications on this, isn't it? When you come into the land, when you've been given rest from all your enemies, and you're dwelling safely, and the Most High set the place up where you want to put his name, then you come with your sacrifices. Then you come and celebrate. You and your whole house, everybody. Make sure you bring the Levi. Why? Because he ain't got no inheritance with you. I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 12:11. Then there shall be a place which Ahai your Allahai shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which you have vowed unto Ahai. And you shall rejoice before Ahai your Allahai, you and your sons, and your daughters, and your menservants, and your maidservants, and the Levi that is within your gates, forasmuch as he have no part in nor inheritance with you. Now let's turn over to Deuteronomy chapter 16 to prove that Passover is a sacrifice. Because some of you sitting there, well, it didn't say nothing about we couldn't do Passover. They say you can't do sacrifices unless you're in the land. We read it multiple times. We're going to read in Deuteronomy 16 that the Passover is a sacrifice that you just can't do anywhere. Let's read. Deuteronomy chapter 16. And you say, oh, Brother Holly, you just spoiling all our fun. No. I'm reading to you the prohibition against doing what's right in your own eyes. I'm reading the prohibition against you doing what's right in your own eyes. There's a way that seems right unto a man, but that way leads to death. What did Messiah call it? He called the narrow way that leads to life. The broad way, doing what's right in your own eyes, leads you to death. But the narrow way will lead you to life. Choose the narrow way. Choose the way of the word. Deuteronomy chapter 16, let's read. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto Ahiah your Alahiah. For in the month of Abib, Ahiah thy Alahiah brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Will you highlight? Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto Ahiah thy Alahiah of the flock and of the herd in the place which Ahiah shall choose to place his name there. Will you highlight? There it all is. The Passover is a sacrifice. You're to sacrifice it where? In the place where he chose to put his name. Here's straight up Passover is a sacrifice, and you must do it where Ahiah has placed his name. Period. Ends. Full stop. Let's keep reading. Deuteronomy 16:3. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, and that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of your life. Will you highlight? Now, since you can't have Passover just anywhere, but wherever you are, for the next 7 days, you can eat unleavened bread. Ain't no prohibition against that. And it's going to tell you here. I'm going to turn on my computer behind me. I don't know. It just came on by itself. It's going to tell us in this chapter coming up that you can't celebrate Passover within your own gates. But you got to go to Jerusalem, to a place where, and you got to be in the place where the Most High put His name therein. You got to go there to celebrate it. You can't celebrate at home, but you can eat unleavened bread at home for 7 days, for a week. To next Shabbat, eat unleavened bread. Get all the leaven out your house. All your pancake mix, all your frozen waffles, all your bread products, all your croutons. Can't have no croutons on your salad for a week. No leavened bread at all. Only unleavened bread. Good old-fashioned crackers. I usually get a couple of boxes of crackers. Put one at work and leave one at home. You don't have to eat a lot. Just eat them. And don't go buy some toast. No, wait till the time of unleavened bread is over. Then you can have some toast. Then you can have a hot dog bun. Then you can have a hamburger. You probably lose some weight during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Oh, praise it. It's good for you to shun bread for a while. Ain't gonna hurt you. All praises. Deuteronomy 16:3. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days, neither shall there be anything of the flesh which thou sacrificest the first day at even, remaining all night until the morning. You see, even if we could do Passover, we can't keep none of it. When the sun rises, we got to get rid of it. It's got to be all eaten up. You got to eat it all that night. And you can't have no leavened bread, no leaven in all your places for 7 days. Verse 5, Deuteronomy 16:5. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Ahiah thy Alahiah giveth thee. See, there it is. You can't sacrifice the Passover at home. Here's the prohibition to celebrating Passover at home. Can't do it. Read it again. Deuteronomy 16:5. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Ahiah thy Alahiah giveth thee. But at the place which Ahiah the Alahiah shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest out forth of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Ahiah thy Alahiah shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go to thy tents or back home where you highlight. You have it all done by the morning, the following day. Then you go home, back to your tent, back to your place of residence. All praises. Are you getting this? Is this starting to resonate with you? I hope so. I don't want you to let some of these uninitiated, or some of them just plain out and out rebellious Hebrews deceive you, to get you to leave your own steadfastness, to follow after the error of their way. Now here at the highest house and house of how we're going to call it straight. I'm going to give it to you straight from the scripture, no chaser. I will not shun to declare unto you all the counsel of Allah. This is part of his counsel. This is what you're not to do. You're not to celebrate the Passover at your house. You only can celebrate it at the place where he chose to place his name. And you can only do that when you're at peace, when you're free from all your enemies. When you're at rest and at peace, ain't nobody threatening you. They bombing that place right now. You know they ain't the people. They're at war right now. You know they ain't them. We're still out here, scattered to the four corners of the earth. But the Most High said through his son, Yahayasha, that the angel come and gather the elect from the four corners. Oh, praises. Praises. Verse 7. Deuteronomy 16:7. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Ahiah thy Alahiah shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning, go to thy tents. Verse 8. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to Ahiah thy Alahiah. Thou shalt not do work therein will you highlight. There it is. So at the end of the 6 days you eat unleavened bread, the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is a holy convocation. We don't do any work. This year, that holy convocation will fall next Sabbath. Oh, praise it. So it works out. We ain't working anyway. So it's a high Sabbath for us. Next Sabbath will be a high Sabbath. It should be the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So let's go to 2 Peter. For all those who are out there throwing rocks, and brother out there, a false prophet telling us we can't celebrate Passover. Blah, blah, blah. Well, let's read. Let's read what the false prophets did. Let's read what the false teachers did. Let's read. While you're out there accusing me of being false, let's read what the false ones will do. The false ones are the ones charging you $50, $100 a head to come to their unholy Passover celebration. Why do you say it's unholy, Brother Holly? Because you ain't supposed to do it in your own places and spaces, and you ain't supposed to do it except when you're in the land, at the place where the Most High chose to place his name. And you're not supposed to do it then if you're in the land, if you're under attack. You got to be at peace from all your enemies round about. There's all kinds of stipulations on it. But them false ones, they'll say, oh no. For $50, we got a special dispensation package here. $50 you can celebrate the Passover with us. Let's read 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1. Let's go. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, damnable false teachings, even denying the master that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. When you highlight. For all you false ones out there lying, saying it's okay, you can do the Passover, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about what it says in Deuteronomy chapter 12. Don't worry about what it says in Deuteronomy 16. We are free to do these abominations. For all you, understand false teachers, understand false prophets, understand false witnesses. Your destruction is coming swiftly. Understand that. Let's read 2 Peter 2:2. And many shall follow their prodigious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. See, what I just read to you from the word of truth. I just read to you from the Torah of life. I just read Deuteronomy chapter 12. I just read Deuteronomy chapter 16. I just read from the Torah of life, from the words of life. The word that has been set before you, life and death, blessed and cursed, and therefore choose life. Choose the word. Choose Torah. Apply it. It is, what did the great apostle Saul, whom we all try to say? It is not the hearers of Torah that shall be justified, but the doers of Torah shall be justified. Do what the word says. Don't be following these heathens. But it says here, many of you are going to do it. Many going to follow. 2 Peter chapter 2:2. Let's continue to read. And many shall follow their prodigious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. The ones that spoke out against what I read, I basically repeated what I taught last year this time. Same message, almost verbatim. They talked about me bad then, they're going to talk about me bad now. The way of truth is always evil spoken of. What the Messiah say? Marvel not, the world hate you. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 3. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words, feigned or false words, make merchandise of you. For $49.99, you can have a spot. We'll have you a special spot. We'll give you the leg off the lamb. I saw some brothers a couple of years ago during this time of Passover. They had a poor lamb on the side of a house, strung up, and they slaughtered that poor thing. They were going to roast it outside. I think they were in South Carolina or Georgia somewhere. Well, I tell you, you can't get much worse than that, man. I felt so sorry for that poor beast, these disobedient Hebrews. I mean, I know they can read. I know they got Bibles. They probably got 20 Bibles. But they're having their big Seder meal and charging people bucks. Let's see why they do it. 2 Peter 2:3. And these are the false prophets and false teachers that do this. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words or false words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not. The judgment is coming. And their damnation slumbereth not. Their damnation wide awake. They're on the path that lead to destruction. So let's review. When is Passover? It starts at sundown. What are we to do? Acknowledge the Passover is at sundown. Are we to go get some lamb and some bitter herbs and some wine and some unleavened? No, we're not. Why? Because we're forbidden to celebrate it in our own house, in our own homes. We're forbidden to celebrate it, even in the land if we're under attack. We're not nowhere near our land right now. We've been scattered to the four corners. If anything, acknowledge Passover and read Deuteronomy 30. Read about the regathering of the children of Jacob. Read about that with your family. If you want to do anything, do that. And remember, the feast of unleavened bread starts tomorrow morning. And for 7 days, you eat unleavened bread. And when we can reconvene, if high wills it to be so next Shabbat is a high Shabbat. For it's the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And at sundown next Shabbat, you can go get you a hamburger with a bun. Because you can have some unleavened bread again. Enjoy the Feast of Unleavened Bread, children. Acknowledge the Passover for Yeshua, for Yahayasha, Messiah, is the Passover for us. All praises to the Most High, Ahia, and to his son, Yahayasha, Messiah, Yadah Hayah.